We are now recording the September 9th, 2016 Small Business Accounting Advisors. Today is Xero Day. So let's introduce you, Joel. Tell us a little bit about you.
Friday. Yeah, so my name is Joel Lacayo. I've been with Xero a little bit over 2 years. I'm a regional sales director. I cover a third of the United States, stemming from California to North and South Carolina. And let's see, I've been in the financial industry for about 11 years, working at different commercial banks as business banking expert, commercial banker as well. Then I went to work for a nonprofit that did financial education and financial literacy for low to moderate income families. I'm a board member for a local nonprofit that focuses on immigrant and entrepreneur women that cook in the food industry. From a commercial case to go out and about in the finance committee. I have a beautiful wife and 2 beautiful little kids. So
Mariette shared with me
not
your
much
picture.
about me. I love everything sports related. Huh?
I said Mariette shared with me a picture of you and your little boy. Mariette has a little.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, Mariette and me did a little kind of like a social ploy with our kids, and we were just shameless. We just put on all the different gear so that they can represent either receipt banks, T-sheets, or Xero. So it was a fun little thing. Yeah, another thing about me is I'm very much of my mindset itself. I went to San Francisco State University. My degree's in marketing. So my focal point within Xero is really strategizing and business development within a client, within a partner. So my focus is on making sure that partners have a strategic mindset when they're looking to grow their business. And then we implore beautiful people like Gary Tasser and his team in the past, where they do more of the technical implementation plans so that make sure that everything that we do on the strategy side makes sense. So it's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Thank you. Looking forward to today. So do we want to go over Xerocon? I know that happened a couple weeks ago now, but you want to talk about some things that happened with Xerocon?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are just finishing up Xerocon South right now, which is the mecca of Xerocon. So a lot of the releases that we announced in the USA kind of took a little step back until the South was announced. I think some of the biggest things and the general topic of conversation was AWS and the automation or AI processes that are in place. So many of you have probably heard that we transitioned our servers over to Amazon Web Services, so AWS. I see some chats and stuff. So we transferred our servers over to AWS, and that was a critical move for us on Xero's side because with all the development on AI side that's been happening with Xero, we wanted to make sure that we set the table for future kind of endeavors. And just to give you a quick summary of that, so the being able to transition over to their servers allows us to do and tackle a lot more data mining and attrition. So one of the things that Rod and other product managers actually talked about were, we had a discussion about how the data that's being set within our AWS services allows us to use other tools that will automate even more the processes to the point where if somebody is transactions coming in through our Xero account, the AI would then be able to determine 9 out of 10 times right now where that code is supposed to be going. So you wouldn't even have to either set a bank rule or codify it yourself or reconcile it yourself. AI will be learning to be able to code a lot of these transactions for you. Ergo, making the job a lot more smoother and better. That does not mean that it's not gonna phase out the work that needs to be done because there still has to be a review process. But again, the whole concept is like, how do we take away some of these mundane, like transactional work away so you have more fuller conversations to things. So that was one of the biggest insights was being able to deliver on the AWS transition and being able to have more access to tools like an AI ThinkBot that we're discussing. And in that same turn, one of the biggest announcements that just came out officially out of the Xerocon South was the fact that we had a chat bot that's going to be introduced. So on Messenger, we have a relationship that with Facebook where we're going to be able to access over the 50 million different small business clients that are on base. And what that's going to allow to do is that the AI engine that we're going to place onto there will be able to, as a messenger, you can type in information like, what's my balance for today? Or is there somebody locally that can help me with my books? Or how much do people owe me right now? So small business owners are going to be able to see the real power of being able to have an automatic machine that goes back to our servers and gives them that information in real time. And in addition, be able to have that available through their partner to be able to even transition even more and have everything set up. So if you're looking or you're thinking long-term how Xero is going to be, we're placing ourselves in the market, it's going to be really, really interesting how we're transitioning to more of, again, automation of very mundane tasks to do more high-level advising, consulting, and relationship building, which I think a lot of you that are in this place really appreciate the fact that you get to build a relationship with your clients, and that's how they become long-term clients with you and end up being, to a certain degree, professional friends. So those are some of the high-level pieces of it. We introduced also report templates with our Xero HQ. So if those of you are familiar with Xero, we have our partner dashboard, which is green on top. It shows you all your clients in one place. It shows you your staff, your training, and the education that's being done. What we're going to be able to have is going to be a center directly for other tool sets. So it's going to be a toolkit that's going to be available for our partners so that they can use throughout all the organizations. And one of the biggest pieces to that we're going to be placing as like the spine of what we're going to build out is our Xero report templates. So a template will be a template that then you can use and utilize throughout your entire organizations. So currently what you're doing, or what you can be doing in Xero, is when you set up a client and the client wants to have a customized report, you can have a customized report onto Xero, but it has to live in that one client. So if you have, let's say, 10, 15, 20, or 30 or more clients that generally use the same chart of accounts, generally need the same report, you have to go into each client and recreate the report customized, and it stays there in that place, which, again, even though it's really clean and beautiful, can be a little taxing and can be a little annoying, to be frank. So the development of report templates is actually going to be out. And what it's going to look like is you're going to be able to set up a template that matches or maps in the chart of accounts that you designate. So we already have some preset, really general chart of accounts based on industry, professional services, legal, retail, and whatnot. So that particular chart of accounts can then be mapped directly to what we're calling report codes. So any chart of account that you designate can then be connected directly to the report codes that then in turn you can take and use at each individual organization. So now you don't have to recreate a new template within each organization. You create it once, and then you associate your chart of accounts per the client to that template, streamlining the process to such a great degree. So on that end, that's the process that we're going to be releasing on the 12th of September. So I believe next Tuesday or Wednesday, that's going to be live for you guys to use. I, unfortunately, am not able to demo it publicly currently, but what I will say is that if you guys are interested in seeing a demo directly with us, because you guys are part of this group, let me know, and I can schedule something out, maybe a different webinar or maybe a different session where you guys can have a one-on-one time with one of our technicians that they can go through a step-by-step, because conceptually it's really simple to put together, but just like anything, simple things can also get really complex if you don't do it properly, right? So we want to make sure you're doing that accurately and to the best of your ability. So we want to make sure that we train our partners very, very well on how they can really build efficiencies through that report template. So that was another thing that happened. And I think something to really highlight in terms of Xerocon, the fact that we're just doubling our attendees. Roughly had about 600 attend in Denver in 2015. In San Francisco, we had a little over 1,000 attend Xerocon as well in San Francisco, which is major. In Xerocon South right now, last year they had about 1,100 or 1,000 attendees, and this year they had well over 2,200 attendees. And I would say just look at a Twitter feed, hashtag, or find out or sort out the hashtag Xerocon, and you'll see the ambiance, the energy, and the motivation that goes behind the conference that it is. It's not salesy. It's all about how do we really make sure that you guys have everything that you need. So I think that was at the top of level, like the highlights of Xerocon itself.
So who went to Xerocon San Francisco here? Yvette?
Katrina, Yvette, Mariette,
Yes.
Shelley,
Gary. Did I see
everybody's
Shelley?
muted.
I went.
Stacy Burn.
Yeah, Stacy Burn was there too. There were a lot of people at Xerocon.
I don't know why my camera's not working, but yeah, it was awesome. I felt re-energized. You know, got to know Yvette, some more time with Stacy, you know, always fun with Mariette. She's a pumpkin. Great to hang out with. And
This time without kids, right?
yes, yeah, for both of us. Yeah, it was good. And I have Joel and Mariette to thank a lot for that. Because Joel gave me that extra push, like, come on, let's go, let's get re-energized. And that's exactly what happened. I'm so glad I went. I made a new friend who lives in Austin, Texas, and now that's Cheryl Finfrock. She's meeting with the Xero Austin team next week.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there's 3 people at that office right now.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm so jealous of you. You get to go and see them face to face anytime you want.
Well, you guys are welcome to go to any of our offices whenever. We're pretty much open.
Yeah, but my closest office is LA, which is a gnarly, gnarly trip.
And there's nobody really there anyway. They don't really go to the shared space. They just don't.
Yeah, but I'm so glad I went. It's so good. I mean, it's just how it should be with conferences. You should go. You should learn about new tools. You should be excited about the product that you're using. You should make new connections and get face-to-face with people. If I hadn't gone to Xerocon, I would have never been able to spend the time with Yvette that we got to spend together. And it's just, it's good, you know, and really ponder ideas and thoughts face-to-face, because we're in this huge changing environment. And it's getting all of us. But I feel like the people that were at the conference and other people who go to other conferences, I believe that they're very adept at wanting to make this change. Whether it's Xero or QBO or Sage, whatever product it is, people are going online. It's happening. You know, bookkeepers, CPAs even, they're no longer pencil pushers. That's not what it's about. It's about connecting technology and making sure that that technology brings you true numbers so that you can analyze your business and know if it's working or not. That's my 2 cents. Joel, back to you.
I mean,
That's
I would.
great, Katrina. That was wonderful. It was nice meeting everybody. I got to meet Katrina, spent a great time with her and Mariette. We had so much fun, Stacy Burn, and I got to meet Shelley for the first time and saw her and Jan do their presentation, which was really nice. We really enjoyed it. It was just a great event, and just seeing everybody there and the stuff that I learned as well was really great. The venue was wonderful.
That's awesome. One of the things that I liked, and I actually got to go to, I feel like I did anyway, through Shelley and Stacy, and the Zoom that we did the last day of the Xerocon. That was really awesome. Do you want to chime in, Shelley? You're muted. Unmute. Let's see if I can.
The Zoom afterwards was really awesome, and I keep thinking about it too. And I think we should do that more, because you learn so many new things, and I would like to be able to make them really specific. Like I feel like I want to walk away from a conference with some specific achievable goals, so that the next year when I go, I'm not, trying to catch up. I can move on to the next thing. And so that was really cool. One thing that I keep wondering is, Stacy talked about the 5-second rule that was talked about at Xerocon, and I was wondering if anybody was practicing that.
Yes, every time I drop my food, I count 5 seconds.
Wrong 5-second rule. Wrong.
Oh. Well, yes, if I practice it,
10-second.
sure.
That's 10-second rule.
Remind us of the 5-second rule, Sally.
It was Mel Robbins, I think is her name, and she was saying her talk is about how we're the ones who are getting in our own way. And if you think of something that you really want to do, and I wish Stacy could explain this because she explained it better than I did, but there's something that you think, well, I should do that. You have to do it within 5 seconds or your brain kills it. So it goes into like a later place. And so the 5-second rule is just basically that you do it.
Yeah. So if I play on that, essentially what she was saying is taking the emotional context out of a decision. Because when you start counting backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're switching your mindset to the frontal lobe, which then causes your emotional capacities to be removed. So a lot of the times when people say, I want to do X, then they start thinking about it, analyzing it, thinking how they're just going to make them feel or how it's going to shift their focus onto it. And then more likely than not, they don't do it. But if they just count backwards, they start to focus on counting the numbers and counting backwards itself. It takes away that back part of your brain that kind of creeps in with all the emotional drivers and gets you out of bed or gets you to do the next thing. So
wait, I don't understand. If you're so if I decide I want to purchase this product, like or subscribe to this service, like and I want to do that, and then I go, no, wait, that's too expensive. What if I make a mistake? Blah, 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 blah. So I don't do anything. So you're saying if I decide that, just count backwards to 5 and all that goes away?
I think it's more of a mindset to achievable tasks that you're trying to do in terms of your own personal growth. So for example, I'm waking up each day, and each day it's going to be like I wake up in bed, then I'm turning off the alarm machine, and then let's say I start thinking like, oh man, it's such a cold day. I'm really comfy in bed, or I'm not emotionally, I'm just not there, and I need to get up and I got to go do this and do that and do this. But the bed's so comfy, I'm so tired, I had a rough day. All these things creep up. But if you wake up in bed and you say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you just do into the next place. And that's her experience, how she got it, because she thought about, I'm going to like rocket out of bed. So she started thinking in terms of like blasting off out of bed, and that's what motivated her to do it. And then she learned what the application of that actually needed to be done with. And I think Gary just shared the YouTube video itself, which explains the 5-second rule. But it's just, I believe that what Mel was trying to push people to do is to make sure that at times when you've had difficult times because you overanalyze some things or tasks that need to be done, you need to just kind of get up off your butt and do it. And I feel that when she applied that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 mechanism, it allowed her mind to not focus on everything, rather focus on that one task.
I see. Thanks.
Gary, we can't hear you.
You're muted, Gary. Here, let me see if I can unmute you.
I wanted to just add to that the flip side
You're
of that.
muted now. Sorry.
That's okay. The flip side of that.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Is that you don't even bother thinking about something if you're not going to get it done. So that was a sort of an unintended consequence I found of trying to practice that, is that if I'm not going to just do it, then I bother thinking about it.
I think like that. Like today, Hal and I were out garage selling and came back and we were looking at houses. And I said, are we really going to buy a house or am I just wasting my time? He goes, don't you think this is fun? I go, no, not if we're not going to buy a new house. Are we going to, because I said, let's decide. If we're going to do it, let's figure it out and go buy one. I mean, because he'll drive around and I'm bored. So I'm like, I like to just make a plan and do it. And he kind of like, well, should we? I don't know. Let's look first. Let's make sure we get the best deal possible.
Try it with Hal then.
Huh?
Try with Hal. Next time he's like, oh, well, should we, shouldn't we? Make him count backwards and get into the moment.
Okay, I'll try that. That's a great idea. I'll try that. I'll count backwards. I'll let you know how it goes.
Gary, you were going to say?
Yeah, no, I was going to say, because I use it quite often in my days. I have several action items, sometimes business development, calling some people, and I get not scared, but I just try to push it off. Then I said, hey, wait a minute. I have to do it. This is my task to do. Half my time doing actual work, half my time business development. That's what I'm trying to do right now. So then I again basically start thinking about it, 5, 4, 2, 3, 2, 1, and maybe a few times. And then basically, okay, I'll come back to the current moment and then start the current actions start falling on that. And giving these tips to my kids, and they are also using it actually.
Nice.
Notice I said.
So this video post, the YouTube thing, is this girl explaining this?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
And another thing from Xerocon, which I really liked it, is coming is what affects my day-to-day work is when doing bank rules for the inter-account transfers. They're going to build a business rule for that, so that you don't have to do manually every transfer. Some of my clients, they do a lot of transfer between back and forth, so that work will be avoided.
Saving time, saving steps. Nice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think there was a lot of great things to consider, and what I like that I'm hearing so far is just that there was a lot of applicable things that they were able to take with them. Even the conversation with was really enlightening. Just kind of understand where everything was and how we fit in and what we were doing, and just kind of getting that point to reflect on it was pretty nice. So one of the tasks that was asked is to simply, when you wake up in the morning, do you make your bed? You know, so he did the presentation, and then the next morning he had another speaking engagement on Wednesday at Xerocon, and he said, how many of you actually woke up this morning and did your bed? So it's about applying a task and getting it completely done and assigning things to you. But I thought it was the reflect points on that is going to be great. Because Xerocon South did finish, we will be releasing videos of certain sections. So if you guys missed it, you guys will be able to get like clips on it and other aspects to it. I don't have an ETA for you on that, but I do know that it's going to be in the works after Xerocon South, which is just finishing probably today or tomorrow, or actually yesterday. So in the next weeks, I'm sure that our video teams are going to put something nice and beautiful together so we can share out to everybody.
Awesome. Awesome.
And another big item was our partner program release. So we did actually provide new updates on our partner program. So currently right now, it's strictly on the number of clients that you house within Xero. So anything that's in a cash book or above, you get credit for. That it counts towards you being in our level of advisors. And we obviously rethought that out. And the new program gives credit for a lot of other things that are associated to it. So attending Xerocon, you get points for. You know, doing our sessions, you get points for being or having certified staff on Xero, you get points for. If you have clients that are just that are in ledgers, you get. So there's a bunch of different points aspects to things. So we're going to be being able to promote our advisors a lot more and being able to have them, the ones that are more verticalized and that they have specialties, so that we can easily pan them out, which is going to be, I think, a great difference maker in terms of how do we continue to promote our partners. Because I feel this, I might be a little biased, but I feel that the account representatives that work with our partners, I believe the ones that do it right, we do a really good job in building a relationship with our partners to make sure that they feel the love and that they get everything that they need.
Absolutely. So Dennis is a partner. Is Dennis with us? Dennis, you're still using Xero with your clients? Unmute, Dennis.
I've got one client that's using it, and I use it for my own books.
Right.
Shelley, you're completely Xero. Yes? Yvette, you have Xero clients. Who else here is?
Yes. With voice. Yes, I am. I converted everybody. It's been a year now. It was last August when I converted my clients. I only had like 10 at that point left to convert, and I really only have about less than 20 that I support.
And while converting, anybody had any question on conversion from QuickBook to Xero? I got tremendous expertise working in Xero, working on QuickBook conversion, including QBOA, which is a big problem.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, Gary, you're going to be one of those people that's going to be on a definitely need to know you for that, because that's some great experience
Thank you.
to have.
Yeah, I just wrote up a doc for Intuit for their Firm of the Future website that just encourages or says to everyone to make sure that they verify their data and check the lists and such if they're converting from desktop, because it's just that basic process.
Yeah, things are dropped.
So if you're in Xero now, you still working stuff with Intuit, or tell them to convert to Xero for Firm of the Future?
I was at the Firm of the Future yesterday, which was an Intuit Carbon event in Seattle, and the content was really good. Like, it was the first time that the concept of being a trusted advisor was explained, I think, in more detail, like specifically, instead of just being a general concept of, and a lot of really good marketing information. So I was there, Dennis, and yeah, I don't know what to say, because I think what I would say is QBO is a good fit maybe for people converting from desktop, right?
In fact, I was on Wednesday at this Firm of the Future with Carbon. Same one, they did one in the Seattle. They were talking about QBO, and I'm looking at it. Everything they're saying we are already doing in Xero.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is like well, how we train, how we position ourselves is really, the fact is that not every single client is going to be a Xero fit. It's just not going to happen. And for example, is just clients that maybe need really complex inventory needs. You're obviously not going to run Xero by itself to be able to process that, but you can have several add-ons to take care of it. Or if it's a client that's already been a legacy client with desktop and they do inventory, it might be the best fit for the client to stay on what they are. So that's okay too. But I think what Shelly is doing, and I know Gary's going to be after, and what I've talked to other people that I've spoken to, it's about making sure it's the best fit for the client. And we know where we're
and I completely,
but there's going to be
completely agree. This is in their inventory add-ons, and when I was at Xero, we got many Intuit, basically QuickBooks, the advanced version. So they got moved into Xero, and now for one of the customer, he is in Mauritius. His firm is in Mauritius, and I'm suggesting him QB Enterprise because he is not it's big thing.
So his company's outgrown it then.
Yeah. And in fact, at the time when I was helping in Xero conversion, I noticed that many of the customers, they were outsold QB Enterprise. They was not needed, and over the years outsold, and they're basically paying a few $1,000s, $5,000, but not using all the features.
Unfortunately, that's true. And that is one of the things that I do like about Xero, is the fact that they want to encourage that you do the best fit for the client, because there isn't going to be one package that works for everybody.
And this is the best thing about Xero is the add-on community. And I have a different perspective because before being an accountant and then 18 years in IT, I was doing ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. And then service-oriented architecture came where they said, you don't need to buy Oracle or SAP. You can have best of the breed applications and then integrate them, and you will have the best of the breed applications. This is something I did for all the big companies, and I'm replicating the same thing with Xero and the add-on for the smaller companies.
Nice, nice.
I think one of the points that I thought was really good from yesterday's training was that as we move into being advisors more and the technology does more of the work for us, that it's the client is maybe not even going to know or care if you're using QBO or Xero or Sage.
Yep.
Yeah, it's more about what you're providing on the front end for them, especially if apps are really where they're interfacing with the program.
I have a question with this artificial intelligence. Is that going to be built in for the clients too, so they may perceive there's not a need to have a bookkeeper?
I think it's how the company actually portrays it and presents as a inset. I mean, to put it lightly, in the past, let's say other companies have been very, very clear in how they present their product to their end clients. In terms of a do-it-yourself, you can do everything on your own. Everything's on your way. I think Xero has been very consistent in terms of their messaging from the start. And the message, like, want you to be on Xero. First step is go talk to one of your advisors to set you up properly and make sure that you know exactly what you're doing the proper way. Through our direct channel sells directly to the small business clients that want to start a trial. The conversation is never, hey, we'll teach you how to do everything ourselves. We don't actually have those conversations.
That's a very bad experience.
So like, yes, it's to set up your chart of accounts on the general. But the reality is that we push them directly to go to our partner directory, talk to one of our advisors. They know how to set it up, and it's going to be like that moving forward. So AI is not going to be the focal point of what we do. AI is a conversation that we have with our partners, the people that are actually doing the work, because you guys want to, that's like the end user. All they're about is my work being done properly? And is how you're going to differentiate yourself is like, hey, have you called me, or have you have a relationship where I know where my books are and where they're going to go and why that's important to me? And I think how Shelley was placing the point of the conversation is that.
Well, the ramification I see is that it seems like most of the cleanup work is sort of user generated. And if you have artificial intelligence making the entries, in theory, wouldn't that cut down on human error if it's coded right?
I'm going to say yes and no. You still have to look at it. We become data shepherds as opposed to data.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, but I guess it depends on the client. A lot of clients only perceive, you need a tax return, or they don't want, I mean, the way QuickBooks markets it is like anybody can do the data entry, it's like.
That is true. QuickBooks does market it not right, improperly. And it comes down to what Deb has always said. What value are we giving our clients? Are we giving our clients what they need? No client wants to be sitting there data entering in QuickBooks. They want to be out doing whatever it is their business is. So you're taking that problem away from them, and you're giving them reports to help them do what they do better.
So from an industry standpoint, it's like people better become more knowledgeable, because they will be obsolete if the data entry is being done by the machine. And they don't really, a lot of the problems are caused by bookkeepers that don't really understand accounting.
Yeah, that's going to be taken off. And the main idea behind this is automation. And my practice, my mantra is 70 to 80% automation I'm going to do in my work. And the remaining 20 to 30% I'm going to outsource, and I'm going to just have face time with my customers and help them and understand their business. And because when I started this, few customers I was surprised to see they can't even interpret the reports and cash flow. And when I explained the cash flow and income statement differences, my previous guy never told these things. So meeting them, and maybe monthly, quarterly, some of them call me on the phone, FaceTime, and I talk to them all the time. Sometimes it's annoying, but that's a relationship building.
Well, you're going to depend more on things like Finograph and Life Plan, and forward-looking things.
Yeah, Life Plan, that's one of the things I'm going to be using, and I found a partner who's going to help me do the eCFO work, because I'm not an expert on that.
So again, you're actually taking that awful part away from the client and giving them the information that they need.
Yes.
Second thing is, when you have apps and you're adding on, doing these add-on apps, the client is going to be working in the apps more and doing less in the accounting software.
Right.
So that means that your accounting software does not get messed up by what they're doing. You don't have to go back and correct these problems. It's done right the first time, and that's it. And you allow them, again, to do their business in the apps. Silence.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
hadn't thought about that, but that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I think it's always going to be in terms of how a business shows value to somebody. And I think that's across the board in every single industry that's a small business track. You have to value client for them to purchase whatever you want them to purchase or the service that you're offering. So the value of your jobs right now, it's not in putting the numbers together. That's not the, as you mentioned, Dennis, that can be automated, and with AI, it's going to make things even easier. The value is going to be, what the heck
Interpreting the
these
numbers
mean to me? Why are they important to me? And if I want to grow, and you should be able to have those conversations where you already know, hey, Joel, you told me that in 6 months, it's a year, you wanted to open up a new location. We can plan ahead of doing that, which typically they wouldn't reach out to you because, one, you're going to charge them by the hour, and two, if all you do is put them together. So explaining that and having more conversations is going to be able to open up the services that you offer. Now, I think one of the things has to be considered is you might not want to do that. And that might not be something that you are interested in anymore. So understanding that the whole industry is changing and it hasn't changed, and you have to take a step back and now reconsider your own business model to say, like, hey, is that really what I want to do? Do I want to have more one-on-one conversations and robust with my clients? People just don't want that. And I can't tell you how many bookkeepers that I've met that are just not interested in doing that, and that's fine. That's their methodology of doing it, and there's always going to be work for them. So it's really, I think, a matter of understanding your own business model and what you want to do, and then if you want to go to these different sections, finding the tools that will help your business go smoother and easier.
Well, it seems like you're going to get a better level of client too, because you're going to get people that are interested in the future and building their business as opposed to creating a job for themselves.
More profitable clients are better clients.
Plus, they're going to value your advice as opposed to someone that's really price sensitive.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to take all clients. I mean, you have to first define your client and what you want. I mean, you know, we can't help everybody because not everybody's as brilliant as we are, you know.
And actually, when you do a niche practice, you can hire clients. That's what I've been hearing, but I'm still new. I don't have very many clients. I'm not hiring any.
I mean, I always have to weed them out when they first walk in the door, and I ask them lots of questions, and you can tell by their answers if they just basically they bought a job, and if they start talking to me about I'm administering my tax return and I don't want to pay any tax and blah 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 blah. I said, well, if you don't want to pay any tax, just close your doors and stand on the side of the road with the sign that says, we'll work for food. Those people don't pay any tax. I said, my goal is to have you pay a lot of tax, because if you're paying a lot of tax, you're making a lot of money. So tell me what you want. And if your focus is just to save money on tax, we're the wrong firm for you.
One of the things that Ian from Carbon talked about yesterday, and Carla Caldwell, she gave this great presentation.
Really exciting.
Yeah.
I love Carla.
I felt like she laid it out so much more clearly as far as if our work moves away from compliance and putting things in the right buckets and everything. Then when we're first taking in a client, the question might not be so much about how good their books are or whatever, because we know we got the tools, we can make that work. It's really like, what are their goals with their business? What are they trying to accomplish? Are they trying to accomplish a certain quality of life?
Yes.
That's
what we can make happen. That's what we can do as accountants, is make that happen for people. And, I get all excited when I have a new prospect, because that's what I tell them. And I tell them the success stories we've had, with our customers. I mean, the biggest one, like most of you know, is the client that was near bankruptcy, and 4 years later, they sold the business for $40 million. And it's because we got the accounting in order, which meant we could make decisions and make plans and make decisions, around, because we knew the numbers. And And we can change lives with this stuff. So I talk about that and if they want to do that, they get all excited. I'm like an evangelist, woohoo! And they come on board or not. And I charge a pretty penny to do this.
I always tell my clients that your accounting system can be your best friend or your worst enemy, depending on how accurate it is.
Well, I taught, now that QuickBooks Online, Xero, I really don't care what platform you use. You pick one, get great at it. Yeah. And it, the feeds come in, the apps work, let the machines take over, and then we can come in and look at the data and say, okay, this is what this means. If we tweak this, change this, look, let's go into the future. Then you start using the live plane, the finograph, and all that stuff. Right. You can make decisions about what if we did this? What would happen? What just happened?
Yeah, and I think as we have, the millennials entering the workforce and whatever, profit is one of the things that people are focusing on, but a lot of businesses are also focused on the things that they're doing in the greater community and sustainability and indicators that are really pretty far beyond the finances, but to them, and we have the tools to do the cash flow forecasting and those kinds of things to help them.
And these young people, they're all about having a great life.
I'm sorry, Deb, I don't mean to interrupt you, but Joel, are you sharing? Will you be sharing your screen with us?
Because I was just trying to find a good time to kind of intercept.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Deb. Continue.
It's okay. I think it's a great conversation to have.
I remember the millennials. I mean, they want a great quality of life. They're all about the apps and the iPhone and how to do it from their iPad and do it on the. They're not like old school. Hal the dinosaur who we sit behind the desk and you have to have the chair and the seat.
And the columnar tabs or the
exactly. They're all. And it is so amazing to me to talk to old versus young. The young people get it. The old folks, drag them along, that's not going to work. I mean, their favorite word is no. And the young people, they see it. They want it, and so it's fun to have these new, and they're the ones starting the businesses.
Right, they're not just about profit. They often are starting a business because they want to achieve an objective that's far beyond profit. And so I think that that's the direction that we can go in. And as accountants, like you said, we are pretty powerful. If we decide to get behind in a business, we can make a big difference.
Oh, yeah. And the thing that also drives me crazy is, accountants, we are cheapskates. So, these clients are very willing to spend money on these apps, on this stuff to make it happen. And we go, no, you don't want to spend that. Oh my God!
The one approach I'm using is one customer.
Let me just interrupt because I know we're supposed to finish at 3:30, and make sure to take advantage that you guys got to be able to do the demo on some of this report.
Finish. I do want to hear his approach. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gary.
I have a question. Maybe in the next session we table something. How to do value pricing, because there are many different schools and that people do differently. I'm struggling with that. My first client, I quoted him very low and I had to work with him, explain him. Then he raised the price a little bit, but we need to work out how people are coming at the value pricing. Is it the number of transactions?
No. I am like the queen of value pricing. I have studied this for years. It has nothing at all ever to do with your costs. It is all about what it's worth to the customer. That is value pricing.
Agreed, but
now that doesn't mean you can't take into account the time and all the effort and all that stuff it's going to take you. You don't say, well, they only want to think it's worth $50 and you take the job. But when you can come up with a price, you can't say, well, this is going to take me 10 hours, so I'm going to have to charge you this. They don't care. I mean, if I'm having my heart worked on and a surgeon, I'm going to say, well, how long do you think it's going to take to fix it? Just fix it. I mean, if it takes...
You have to have some idea, Deb. I think that's what Gary's saying.
Yes, agreed. Because now it's not only the question of time, it's the cost of the add-ons also, which, according to my opinion, comes down to sometime 20 to 30% of my value. Of my price.
Right.
No, well, you factor that in when you give them a price of the options. You say, okay, this is my minimum, and I know you know in your head what your bottom line is. That if they don't pay that, then you can't do the job.
Well, let's come back to this conversation again.
It's my favorite conversation, by the way.
I know it is.
It is, Deb.
I want to give Joel a chance to do his demo.
Okay.
So we're ready,
Sorry.
Joel.
You get me all worked up.
Yeah, it's very much a good conversation to have, though. So can you guys see my screen right now?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So I'm within Xero Blue right now within the client's file itself, under the reports tab. You'll be able to see all the reports. And so some of the changes that have happened, you see the layout is a little differently. Before we used to have our legacy reports, and then we had an opportunity to go in and go to the new reports. So everything's all in one space. I'll show you the differences really, really quickly. If I go to income statement here, it'll show me the older version of how it looks like. It's still pretty nice and simple, but not what we're looking for. I'm going to go back to the reports, all reports, and then I'm going to pick new reports, a new statement. I'm going to open a new tab with the new reports. So you guys, it takes you directly to a different step where the income statement looks very, very different. So the layout is much cleaner, much nicer. But what I think is really impactful is the edit button that we've actually placed into it. Yeah, so now you're going to be able to customize the report completely. So I can directly just click on anything and change the information, change the words that I need it to do. I can grab aspects of the report itself and move it around. I can then also add maybe a new row, a new group, a new formula, or I can add a new column. I can even set up a budget firsthand. So if I were to go to the advisors tab and I can actually create, I think it was reports. If I go back to the reports, I can create a budget directly. And once that budget is in place and set up, I can then have that budget do comparables between quarters, between years, between what needs to happen. I can adjust the time frame associated to it. There as well. I can change the name, whatever I want to it as well. So just the layout itself and how it's going to be done is been simplified completely onto it. You can add different text to it. So this is really the new look that we have on our reports. As was mentioned before, this layout is going to be more of like a simplified copy of it. This is a template that you're creating within each organization. What we're actually moving towards now is that when you are within your own Xero workflow, which is going to be your Xero Green, you're going to have access to another tab that's going to be Xero HQ, where you can then be able to create an entire, that you're going to have templates that when you go back to your client file, you're going to then be able to recall those templates themselves. So if I go back to the demo company in this situation, after I created a template, I will be able to see my saved reports on my report screen, and then I can star them so that they can be on the actual tab here. So I'll have published, I'll have custom reports that are already in place that I can have and save them not only for this company, but I can recall that main template itself. This is going to be a huge, huge time saver for a lot of people that already wanted to have like percentages associated to it or decimal points that are associated to the reports to get more of finite in their findings. So that's, I mean, again, without playing too much with it, that's what it looks like.
Can you like see the other revenue in the sales line? Can you sum those together on this report, or is it always going to be separate? If I wanted one line called rev sales, the two of those things combined, can you add them together so on the report it shows up as one line?
Yes, you can. So I'm going to go step by step. So under the income, so other revenue is what we're calling the report code, and sales is another report code. So what you can consider them as a group that's being selected. So the group itself has several different accounts in the chart of accounts are associated to that particular. Exactly. So that other revenue is just a category that you can use, but it could be named whatever you want, and then you associate whatever a chart of accounts that you want to that particular code. So now you don't have to just use one separate chart of account. You can essentially import any type of a chart of account that you have for any industry, and then you map it to these different report report code sections to tell them which account you want it to be done. So then that's how you're going to be able to then recall it. So now you have, let's say, 25 clients in the same industry. They're all using this complicated chart of account. Well, you only have to do the report and customize it once, and then you're going to be able to use it within each Xero account.
Auto guy, I do bookkeeping for the firm, for the company.
Who is speaking?
Who's speaking? I can't hear you.
No, I think they might be on a phone call.
Oh,
It's hard to run this kind of business.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Can I have a Xero account and import a trial balance and then do reports?
So
I have it in Excel.
yes. So the question is that if you could import a trial balance into Xero. Is that the question? Or so what?
Yeah.
I guess what's the end result that you want to achieve?
I want to use Xero to do my financial.
Yeah. So each partner actually gets a free account
Right.
that you can play with whatever you want, and you can set up however way you want. It just depends on what you're trying to achieve. If it's something very simple where you want to do the work where you don't need automatic bank feeds coming in, I would recommend
No, what I'm saying is not do the accounting, only use it for reports. Say I have a client that I just have a trial balance and I need to knock out reports. And what I've been looking for is a system to let me easily format financials the way I want to.
So the way that it works with Xero, though, you can't just import the trial balance to get the report in. It needs to see the transactions because it has to be all coded on the back end. Because again, you're mapping the chart of accounts to the report codes for the report template.
No, the trial balance would have the same chart of accounts. I mean, or a journal entry. Could I bring it in as a journal entry as of December 31st and then?
I'm going to have to get back to you because from my understanding is that so what file is being used currently to do the actual reconciliation to get the trial balance?
They could be using anything. It could be anything from manual system to QuickBooks. If all I have is a trial balance in Excel with the account numbers and the names and everything and the total amounts for year.
Use QuickBooks Statement Writer. I do it all the time.
I feel like you're asking for
It won't. Yeah.
It wouldn't do that.
I use it for that.
Yeah.
You customize to map it out.
And you don't have any problems with the different versions of Excel?
No.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Because I have one back, we're doing it now. We do it manually. He sends in his trial balance, and I have to take the whole thing and split it out, make this big complicated mess. I just import it and boof, there it is. Magic.
In desktop. Yeah.
Desktop, which is, oh well, sorry.
That's what I'm saying. I'm looking at different options when every once in a while I just have to do a set of financials.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need the online version for that because I just, I don't need to pay for subscription.
Mm-hmm. Well, online's going to be alphanumerical. That's why this has got me all hyped up.
Well, online to get it in the order you want. In QuickBooks Online, you have to use chart account numbers. So so I like Statement Writer. Does what you need. Anyway, sorry. It means
no.
I'm trying to think outside of the box.
Just don't try to.
What did you say? Mark's like, don't try to use it on a network. Yeah.
I think for those one-off questions, I can definitely send
well, how do you set up a new client? Can't you import a journal entry or a trial balance to set up a new company?
You can. You can. It's just what I'm saying is that it needs to, when you say trial balance to me, it's a report that has all the aggregate information already in there. It doesn't have the actual itemized information. And what I'm explaining to you is that the itemized information is going to be critical to then be able to manipulate on the report side. But if I'm doing something like, for example, I'm going to go back to the main stage. If you guys haven't done this yet, when you create a new account, when I create a new organization, it's gonna ask you to ask you what the starting balance is, but I don't remember off the top of my head if it
it'd be
allows
the same
you
thing. I could start a new company. What are the beginning balances? Here's my beginning balances. Boom.
And then can she make reports off of that?
And then make reports off of that.
Yeah, Are you thinking about using this on a monthly basis like that?
No, I could nuke it and do a new one.
So the question is, can you start a subscription just for the one-time period to create a report and then cancel out the subscription? That's really what
I probably want to use it ongoing because I don't even have any clients that.
Yeah, you would want to use it as a.
Chances are I'd want to reverse out the prior and put in a new one. Reverse out the prior and put in a new one.
Yeah, can you just dump the whole of the data and then redo it, re-import?
Yeah, I'd love to dump it and redo it, or reverse it. And does it bring? So it brings in opening balances in a very specific way versus a journal entry, say that I could just delete and then.
Yeah, and it does those conversions from other software. That's why I asked where the reconciliation is actually being done.
If I say I don't have any other accounting records, all I have is an Excel spreadsheet, trial balance. There should be some sort of a routine to just take opening balances or ending balances for December 31st to start off a New Year's Day. I'm sure it does.
So I'm going to just quickly go through this things with some information so you can see what it actually requested. The financial data that you have to initiate with the time frame. Then it's going to ask you directly in terms of invoice if you need to do that. I'm going to skip it for this particular piece. I don't care about users who I'm going to invite. I don't care about the currency, if it's going to be multi-currency or not. What tax rates I'm going to do. And then here's where you can actually import your own chart of accounts or use one of the default ones that we have. And then when it goes to account balances to start with, once this finishes, then it's going to ask me in terms of being able to do the conversion date and when the balance is going to actually start in terms of the date itself. But that's all the information that we actually get up going. And this is in terms of the account balances, what you want to start with. So that's the gist of what the account balances and information that we need to start an account and what you need to get started.
Yeah, I understand AR and AP, but I'm talking about the whole.
Yeah. And so when it is finished, I don't want to click that one right now. I'm going to go back to the demo company to play it out. But when it is in there, you can do a journal entry to start with to have a new place put inside. But I have not had the question come up where if we can import just a trial balance to start with. So I can figure that out and ask my technician, and I can give you guys an answer.
Find out, because what if I want to start a new company in Xero, and I've got 2 years worth of trial balances that I could bring in as journal entries, say 24 journal entries, one for every month.
Yep.
And then I can do comparative reports and everything. So what is the mechanism to take the information that I have in Excel, the net change for every month, and bring it into Xero? That'd be super cool.
Sarah has a program called Trial Balance Importer and can do that. Exporter, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I can get the information. Say I want to bring somebody from QuickBooks to Xero, and I have 24, net change figures. I want those. If I were to go back into QuickBooks, I would do it as 24 journal entries.
Yeah. Okay. I'll ask the question. I'm actually writing it down. So I'll ask the question to my technician. I can send it out to you so you know exactly.
You can import it as a CSV.
Mm-hmm. It exports as a CSV.
Yeah.
We have Gary halfway with us. He's on a call too.
Oh, is he talking to somebody?
Yeah, he's in and out.
Joel, I'm going to have you stop screen sharing. We're about at the end of our time. Does anybody have any questions for Joel before we leave? I think Sarah had the biggest question of all. Dennis, you always have questions about reports.
I'm just going to wait until September 12th to see what the new reports are.
Yeah.
I missed it. What's coming out in September? I was late.
So September 12th, we're going to be releasing our actual report templates, which is
that's
the full
like Monday.
No,
Today is Friday. That's like Monday that's happening.
I'm sorry?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So
20th?
on the templates, you can basically have formulas that are in there, and those will transfer over as the templates.
Yes.
Awesome.
So the first step is map your chart of accounts directly to the report code template, and then you can associate the formulas on the different columns that you would like to that report, and then you can recall that template to each individual organization as needed. Yep.
So you can design your favorite financials and then tweak it.
Joel, quick question. Are they going to have demos online for this, for the new improvement?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we're gonna have a full-fledged like guides, quick videos, and quick things on how to do it. The help center is gonna have chock full of information as well. My advice to you is, if you want to do more hands-on, the videos are great, but I think for a hands-on experience, contact your account rep, and they can set up some time with the technician, with a practice consultant, so they can go through one or two of the templates set up for you. Because again, the concept is really easy to understand, but there's so much mapping associated to it. You want to make sure you get one of our supports to just kind of walk you through it the first couple of times. My recommendation. Yeah.
So I'm in the middle of my certification, and I just got a note that says I should probably hurry up and finish because it'll get lost. Is that right? Like I'll lose where I'm at?
So part of the new partner program that's going to be rolled out, we're asking people that are like halfway through some of their sessions to finish them up by the 21st of September, because we're going to be rolling out a completely new certification process.
Okay.
I'm going to be part of the master group next week, so I can't comment too much on it right now. But that's the reason why we're asking our folks to finish by the 21st, so it counts towards your certification or recertification too.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. So if you guys have any other questions, again, I cover a pretty vast territory. If I'm not your direct account rep, please let me know and contact me. Have my information in line. If the rep hasn't been responsive, or you haven't had a call in the last quarter, please give me a call and let me know, so I can get a nice little nudge to them and say, hey, what's going on? Everybody needs to get some love. And if not, any other insights that you want to find out about, anything else that you want to learn about Xero, please give me, text me, call me, email me, ping me, tweet, whatever. I'm on social media all the time. So I just wanted to throw that out there for you guys to have at least another resource in Xero that you guys can kind of leverage.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joel.
Thank you.
Great.
You're welcome.
Great. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you for joining us. It happens to be the same day Gary was here. So that was perfect. That worked out really well.
Awesome.
So everybody have a great weekend. We will see you next week, same time, same place. Next Wednesday is our Global Bookkeeper Zoom. So I will be putting up a schedule that will tell when and what times certain people will be coming on. Shelley, you are there. You'll be coming on. You'll be working with Avalera. Do you want to talk a little bit about that before we leave?
I can tell you that there's going to be a special announcement. If you can make it for the 1 p.m. Eastern Time Zoom, there's a Zoom at 1 p.m. Eastern Time and a Zoom at 1 p.m. Pacific Time. So the earlier one is going to be broadcast from the Avalera office. Gina is going to be the facilitator. We're expecting at least 20 different groups on. And it should be really interesting to find out a little bit more about what bookkeeping is like in other parts of the world and what our challenges are.
Where are those posted in Facebook someplace, or?
They will be, Dennis. I don't think the schedule is exactly complete right now. So I'm going to wait until next week, and I'll have the complete schedule when people are coming on at what time.
Okay.
What time London will be joining us, and what time Australia will be joining us, as well as Shelley's Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll put up there's a link for there's tons of stuff going on. So I'll put that link up here.
Perfect. All righty. See you all next Wednesday. Take care.